support the work of Anne because in this book is her story. And I think that when you read it, you will see the neglect of the state in relation to those that have Lyme disease, and you will see a complete, I suppose, determination on the state not to recognise Lyme disease.
I so appreciate yourself and Lynn and Cynthia are getting involved and following up for us, because we're not getting the help we need here, and our result or our testing methods they're just lacking something.
Yeah.
And I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, but a lot of people then get diagnosed abroad, which is in Germany, which is part of the EU as well,
of course.
and there's where you come in.
Yeah.
If the results from our German labs were recognised better here, maybe that our GPs and doctors could follow up with treatment like they did with me back in the day.
Yeah. Well, I'd see a number of issues. So first of all, I think a lot of people are dismissed, when they initially go in and they say, I think I might have Lyme disease or I've been looking into the symptoms. I think that's the first thing we need to tackle, is that it's actually taken seriously and people are listening to it.
And I didn't see a tick, so I didn't know I got bitten.
And people don't think that it can happen in Ireland. That's another big myth.
And I had a ringworm on my leg, which is similar to the bullseye, but back in 95 we had no idea,
So I think, just to say, I think the work that you have been doing, in fairness, has been instrumental in making people more aware, first of all, that it is something that can happen in Ireland. And I definitely think, it's helping to put pressure, but we probably need a bit more pressure on the medical system for them to realise, you need to take people seriously, you need to listen to what they have to say, and then it comes into, I suppose, the testing, like what you're saying.
Testing. And we need awareness signs.
100%,
and that's our campaign for the last few years, contacting county councils.
Yeah.
Awareness is okay, but we need to follow up and get
the
GPs educated, because they don't know. They don't believe, some doctors don't believe that you can get infected here.
So I think the awareness is definitely the first step, and then the actual access to testing.
Absolutely.
And then if people do need to go abroad while we're kind of getting better equipped in Ireland, that should be done, like you say, it needs to be recognised. And it is something, that myself and Lynn and Cynthia now potentially can raise. So there is a section that I was actually thinking about just this week, because this week we were in Strasbourg for that's normally our voting week, but there's also an opportunity on a Monday evening to raise kind of any topic in a 1-minute speech, and I was thinking that that's something that we could maybe potentially try and raise at a European level to kind of get it, just again to put it back on the agenda, like the questions and the committees are great, but just to highlight it.
And May is worldwide Lyme disease awareness month, so it would be a good time. Out in the
it would be a good time in the May session to try and do that, definitely. And some of the issue could be as well that I suppose, like a lot of the GPs at the moment are a bit overrun, and maybe there's so much going on, but I do think they should be given the time to attend training.
Hi, I'm Lynn Boyle and I'm a Sinn Féin MEP for Dublin. I'm sending all my support to all the Lyme disease advocates for Worldwide Lyme Disease Awareness Month. Lyme disease brings many challenges, and firstly there is a lack of prevention awareness about how to potentially avoid infection with this chronic disease. On top of this, it can be incredibly difficult to receive a diagnosis, and we all know that early diagnosis is key to successful treatment. We need to make sure that doctors are equipped with the knowledge to adequately diagnose and treat patients with Lyme disease. I support the call to update treatment and diagnosis guidelines to bring them in line with the latest scientific findings.
For coming here today and sharing his petition for comparison research on all blood tests currently issued in the EU for detecting Lyme disease. I also want to thank my constituent from Kilkenny, Anne Marr, who's with Lyme Chat Era, for bringing this to my attention as a first-time MEP, although I was familiar with the disease over many years. So I appreciate that the European Parliament from 2018 adopted a resolution aimed at allocating additional funding for research for Lyme disease, and indeed the Commission spokesperson has detailed that. And this additional funding on research has harmonised research and has aimed at the prevention of this disease within the European Union. But of course, we have much more to do. We have seen some progress. But detection and treatment of the infection varies across member states. That is regrettable that it depends on which member state a sufferer is living in. And in the meantime, of course, countless Europeans are suffering not only with the immediate symptoms of infection, but in many cases also the stress of trying to get a diagnosis and the knowledge that delay or inability to get a diagnosis could lead to a lifelong illness. So those patients really do deserve to know that they're receiving the best possible treatment available and that it is equal to what they would receive or the treatment they would receive anywhere in the European Union. And they should not be left with the 3 M's. Number 1, misdiagnosed. Number 2, mistreated. And number 3, misunderstood. This does not, however, give us the right to shrug our shoulders at sufferers from Lyme disease who have to deal with this illness every day of their lives when we know that more can be